So, class, welcome to the second video of lecture number 30. In the previous lecture, that is first video of lecture number 30, I didn't discuss what is BH curve, because this BH curve, it is a very important topic or very important concept of any magnetic circuit. So, basically in the previous chapter, we discussed about the magnetic field density B. Okay, this is magnetic field density. So it is given by flux per unit area. Sorry, I am representing area here by small a, because a ampere turns, that for that ampere turn I am using capital A. So it is simply, I will again write flux per unit area. Okay, magnetic flux density is simply flux per unit area, means it defines how dense the flux is. Okay, means in a unit area how much lines of forces are passing. Okay, so B is given by phi by A, and its unit for phi is Weber and area is meter square. So overall unit for B is Tesla. Okay, so I'm saying what is B? B is basically the number of lines of forces. Which forces? Magnetic forces or magnetic lines of forces per unit area. Okay, now the second quantity was H. What is H? H is nothing but magnetic field intensity. This is density and H is intensity. Then city. So this H is given by formula number of turns into current divided by the length of the conductor. How many turns are there in an electromagnet? Multiply by the current divided by the length of the conductor. Okay, so this current is measured in ampere, number of turns it is denoted by T, and length is in meter. So its units are ampere turn per meter. So basically what does this H? It shows what is the intensity of magnetic field. By intensity of magnetic field, we mean how much magnetic force is exerted by this magnetic field on a system. Okay, H means intensity, means this is intensity. Intensity means how much intense the magnetic field is, or how much intense the magnetic field is. That means how much force is exerted by the field on a system. Okay, so this is the difference between this word density and intensity. Intensity means how strong the magnetic field is. Density means number of lines of force per unit area. Obviously, more the intensity, more will be the density. So I am saying more the intensity, more will be the density. So I can say that B is directly proportional to H. That is, magnetic field density is directly proportional to intensity. Obviously, if the field is very strong, it will have more number of lines of forces. Okay, so obviously if we will have more number of lines of forces passing through a unit area, so that means B is also high. So removing the sign of proportionality, I can write B is equal to mu H, or in other words, we can write B is equal to mu naught mu r H. So mu naught is a constant value whose value is given by 4.2 10 to the power minus 7, which is a unitless quantity, and mu r is the relative permeability. Okay, relative permeability, which is 1 for air and 800 for iron. Okay, depending upon which type of material. If a material has a very good magnetic properties, mu r will be high. Okay, so here you can say that we, from this relation, we should know which quantity is dependent upon which quantity. Okay, so here you can see that you can control the H by controlling the current. Okay, or number of turns or length of the conductor. Okay, so here I can say in this equation you will see B is dependent on B depends or B is dependent on H. Okay, I'm saying B is dependent on H, and from this relation you can see that H depends on what? Current I. So I will say that B depends on H and H depends on I, which means that B also depends on I, though indirectly. I say that B also depends upon I, though indirectly through H. Okay, got it? So I can say that in an electromagnet, if I have an electromagnetic, I know that H is equal to Ni by L. I am saying that in an electromagnetic, number of turns and length of the conductor, they are constant. I am saying suppose N and L are constant. Then what will happen? Then H will be directly proportional to I. Then I will say H will be directly proportional to I. I is what? Nothing but supply current. I am saying if I have an electromagnet, like I have a coil which is wound over the surface of some magnetic material, and I have a source here, the current that is flowing through this coil, it is called the supply current I. So I is the supply current. So I am saying that by controlling H, I can control I, or in other words, I can say that by controlling I can control B. Okay. So what is now this BH curve? So BH curve is nothing but BH curve. I was talking about BH curve. BH curve, it is nothing but the graphical representation between B and H. If you plot a graph between this magnetic field intensity and magnetic field density, then that graph is called as the BH curve. Okay, because the graph will be in the form of a curve. So to obtain a BH curve, I will consider a solenoidal section. So suppose I am considering a solenoidal section here. Here I am considering a solenoidal section like this, and I am saying over this solenoid, over this hollow cylinder, we have a coil of n number of turns. So we have a coil here, and suppose that I am saying the current that we have a source that is connected to this coil, and this source, it supplies a current I in the coil, and this will form a solenoid. So I am saying this coil have n turns, and we will consider that we have another soft iron. We have another material of soft iron piece. This is a soft iron piece, SiP, soft iron piece. So what we will do, we will trace the BH curve for this soft iron piece, which we will place in the magnetic field which is produced by this solenoid. Okay, so what we are doing, this is a solenoid. Okay, so and the current flowing in the coil is I, and a soft iron piece we have, and we are placing this soft iron piece in the magnetic field that is generated by this solenoid. Now we will trace the BH curve for the soft iron piece. Okay, so what we do, firstly we are saying, let us this draw an axis first. Okay, I am saying this horizontal axis, it represents H units for H is ampere turns per meter, and this is magnetic field B. Unit for magnetic field is Tesla. Okay, so this is the origin. Okay, what we are saying, I told you that B is directly proportional to H is directly proportional to I, or other words, I can say that B is also directly proportional to I. What I am trying to say here, if I increases, I am saying if I increases, what will happen? H will also increase, because H is nothing but Ni by L. Here we are assuming that N and L are constant, and if H will increase, B will also increase, because B is equal to mu naught H. So obviously mu naught is constant, mu is constant, so B will also increase. So what will we will do? We will gradually increase this current. This is the current now. So we will start from 0. At this point we will say the current is 0. We will start from 0 and we will gradually increase current from 0 in small steps. Okay. So as we will increase current from 0, H will also start increasing. Okay. And proportionally B will also start increasing. So how the graph will look like, if we will see. So I am saying I am increasing H, B will also increase. So the graph will go like this. Okay. Suppose up to some this point. Okay. Basically what is happening, basically we have magnetic material, soft iron piece. It will have magnetic domains. I will show here. Here I will draw. It will have, these are the magnetic domains. So these magnetic domains are oriented in randomly in any direction. Okay. So as we increase the current, means we are increasing the magnetic field intensity. So because of magnetic field intensity, the flux density will also increase. So what will happen? These magnetic domains, they will start getting oriented in one direction. Okay. So I am saying this way. Suppose I am saying this iron piece is produced in placed in a magnetic field. So these magnetic domains, some will remain like this and magnetic domains will get oriented in one direction. You see I am showing arrows in this direction. So so keep increasing the current further. A stage will come that where this with the increase in H, the B will not increase further. Okay, magnetic field flux density will not increase further. Why it will not increase further? Because at that point all the magnetic domains, they will get oriented in one direction only. So if all the magnetic domains, they will get oriented in one direction, still if we will increase the current, means if still we will increase H, B will not increase, because none of the domains are left behind. All the domains are now oriented. So this point, it is called saturation point. If I increase the H beyond this point, the magnetic field density will not increase, that is B will not increase. So I will mark this point as X. This point is O. O means where current was 0 and H was 0 initially. So what I did, I started increasing the current, H started increasing, and proportionally B also started increasing. It is because these randomly oriented magnetic domains, they now started they are getting oriented now in one direction. So a stage reaches where all the magnetic domains, they will get oriented in one direction. So after that, if we will increase H, magnetic field density B, it will not increase. Okay, so this is called as a saturation point. Got it? So what we do? So once we reached this saturation point, with the increase in current, H and B, they will not increase. Okay. Now what happens if we gradually reduce the current? So we are moving in this direction right now. Now if we gradually start reducing the current now, so if we gradually start reducing the current, what happens? This curve should again trace the same path like this. It should start from this point, it should move in this direction, but actually it is not moving in this direction. Okay, it does not obey, so it will not come back, follow the same path. So instead of following this path, what it does, it follows the path which is slightly different, which will be like this. Let me draw it here. Okay, so if we gradually start reducing the current from this point and we reduce the current to 0, at that time we will see that this H, it has reduced to 0, but B has not reduced to 0. At this point, look, what is H? H is 0. What is B? So suppose I am saying this is small y, B is OY. Okay, I am saying when current is reduced to 0, H reduces to 0, comma, H reduces to 0, but B does not reduce to 0, does not reduces to 0. So B does not reduces to 0, B is given by here O small y. Okay, so what is this O small y? It is the residual magnetism, OY. What is the value of magnetic field density at this point when we again make H equal to 0 by reducing the current to 0? The value of the B at that time is OY, and this OY is called as the residual flux. This OY is called as the residual flux. Got it? Or residual, sorry, not residual flux, like residual magnetism. Residual magnetism means making the H equal to 0, still there is some magnetism in the material. So which is stored, this residual magnetism is stored in the magnetic material, this soft iron piece here. Still means I am reducing the H to 0, but still some magnetism will be retained by this soft iron piece, and this property is called as retentivity. Retentivity means if we start reducing H after the saturation, if we will start reducing H, the H will become 0, but B will not become 0. So the value of the B when H becomes equal to 0, it is called as residual magnetism, which is retained by any magnetic material, and this property is called as retentivity. Why this happens? This happens because, you know, once all the magnetic domains get oriented, if we start reducing the magnetic field intensity, okay, a stage will reach when magnetic field intensity will become 0, means H becomes 0. What will happen at that time? I will say almost some of the domains, they will not be oriented in particular direction, but still there will be some domains which will be oriented in one particular direction. Okay, so because of these domains, magnetic domains, which remain oriented in a particular direction, there will be some magnetism retained because of these magnetic domains, and that magnetism is called as retentivity. Okay, though some of the majority of the domains, they will remain oriented in random directions, but few of the domains, they will remain oriented in one particular direction. Because of that, these domains, there will be some magnetism which will be stored in the material, and that magnetism is called as residual magnetism, and the property is known as the retentivity. So this magnetism, residual magnetism, OY, it is called as loss. Okay, or hysteresis loss. This loss is called as hysteresis, HYSTERIS, hysteresis loss. Hysteresis loss. I will again write here because it is not visible. Hysteresis loss. So why is this a loss? I tell you. Firstly, you look what is hysteresis. Hysteresis means lagging behind. At this stage, B and H, they both are proportional. Okay. Now when H has reduced to 0, B has some value, means B has not reduced to 0, means B is lagging behind H. So hysteresis loss. So I can say it is nothing but B lags behind H, because H has reduced to 0, but B has not reduced to 0. So why is this loss? Let me tell you what happens. Suppose at this stage, so there is some magnetism in the system. Okay, so firstly, when this there was no current flowing in this circuit, so I turned on the supply and I gradually increased the current. Because of the increase in current, H started increasing. Because of H, B in this material, it also started building up. Okay, so it follows this direction, this arrow. Now what I am doing, so this is a saturation point. Now I am gradually reducing the current. So when the current, I am gradually reducing the current so that H becomes equal to 0. When H becomes equal to 0, again coming back to here, H becomes equal to 0 at this point, it will follow this path now. At this point, H is 0. Okay, at this point, H is 0, but we still have some value of B. Okay, now what happens if I again turn on the switch at this point? Okay, and again gradually start increasing the current. What will happen? So it will follow this path like this now. So this is the saturation point. I am saying this is the saturation point. Okay, so what will happen? It will follow this path and saturation will be reached at this point because it's a saturation point. So if there is some magnetism in the residual magnetism in the system and I again turned on the current, so the again H will start increasing and B will also start increasing. So this B will hit the saturation point. So means what is the H? this is H here, H dash I'm saying. So you can see in the second cycle, when I again turned on the current, so this curve is hitting the saturation at a very low value of H. Here the value of initial first case value of H was this, and in the second case value of H was this. So I am saying in the second cycle, the system is hitting the saturation at a very low value of H. Very low value of H means at a very small value of current, the material is getting saturated. Okay, so this is second cycle. Maybe in the third cycle, it will reach the saturation point at a very smallest value of current, which is H double dash I am representing here. Okay, so this is undesirable effect, means you are turning on the system and your system is attaining saturation at a means instantaneously. This is not good for any system. So what is our aim? Our aim is to remove this residual magnetism, means we want this OY to become equal to 0. So what we do to remove this residual magnetism, what we do, let me take another page. So here I will again draw the system. I'm saying this is H, this is my B. I'm not writing the units, so initially it was going like this, then it came back like this. So this is my Y, this is O, this is my X. So initially this direction, then we started reducing the current and we came back to this point. Now at this point we see that H is 0. At this point, means this line H is 0, but B is not reduced to 0. So what we do to make B to reduce the B 0, what we will do, we increase the current in the negative direction, means in the reverse direction. So if we will increase the current in the reverse direction, means H will increase in this direction. Okay, a stage will reach when H will increase in this direction. So this B will also reduce at the same rate. So at this point I am saying, now at this point, if you will see H is not 0 but B is 0. Are you seeing it? H is not 0 but B is 0. So means that the residual magnetism in the material, it has reduced. Okay, so what we do, since B has reduced to 0, but still we keep on increasing the current in the reverse direction, so the curve will move like this. So since I am increasing the current in the reverse direction, even after when this B has reduced to 0, why I am increasing this the value of the current or H? Because now I want to see the saturation in the negative region. Suppose I am saying that after this point the curve reaches to saturation again. This is saturation point. So what will happen? If I will increase H further, there will be no increase in B in the reverse direction. Okay, so what happens after this point? I am saying the B will not increase further. So this is the saturation in the negative region. So what will happen? So firstly I will mention this point by point number C. Okay, this is point C, where I am saying this this has reduced to 0, and the force which is required, I am saying the force or MMF H that is required to reduce the residual magnetism OY to reduce the residual magnetism OY in a material to 0 is called as coercive force. What I am saying, it is COER, coercive force. What is coercive force? It is the MMF that is required to reduce the residual magnetism in a material equal to 0. Got it? So now what we do after this point, I am saying we continuously increase. What is coercive force? The MMF required to reduce the residual magnetism in a material equal to 0. So it is this point. Okay. So but what we do, we continuously increase the value of H or current in the reverse direction up to which point? Up to the negative saturation point or negative region. So which is this point. Okay. So after saturation, there is no fun to increase H. What we do now after saturation, we reduce or we reverse the current. So now again we reverse the current means we reverse the current, means we increase the current in the positive direction. Okay, means we reverse the current, like from here we started to this point by increasing the current, then we gradually reduce the current to this point. After that we applied the current but in the negative region, up to which point, when the residual magnetism reduces to zero. Still we increase the current in the negative in the reverse direction up to this point. Okay, so this is the, from this point to this point, it is the increase in current in the reverse direction. Now we will decrease the current in the reverse direction. Decrease the current in the reverse direction means we will move from this side towards this side. So ideally the system should follow this path. Okay, but it does not actually follow this path, it will follow this path. Okay, I am saying this point is capital Y. Okay, so what I am doing, firstly I am increasing the current up to saturation point in the positive region, then I am reducing the current to 0. Okay, when the current is 0 or H is 0, still there is some residual magnetism in the system, which is a loss. Okay, so to reduce this residual magnetism, I increase the current in the reverse direction up to a point where residual magnetism becomes equal to 0, and the MMF required to reduce the residual magnetism to 0 is called coercive force. After that I still increase the reverse current, okay, up to the negative saturation point. So after the negative saturation point, I, instead of increasing the reverse current, I started decreasing the reverse current, okay, up to this point. Oh no, this OY dash, it is again residual. OY dash, it is again, sorry, O capital Y, here O small y, this is O capital Y. OY, it is again residual magnetism, and the reason is same as in case what was in the case of O small y. Okay, so what I have to remove this residual magnetism OY. What I will do to increase this residual magnetism, what I will do at this point to this point, the reverse current, I started reducing the reverse current until the reverse current becomes equal to 0. Now after that I will again increase the current but in the forward path. Okay, so what will happen, or in the forward path means in the positive direction, not in the reverse direction. So to remove this residual magnetism OY, what we are doing, I am increasing the current in the positive direction until the residual magnetism again reduces to 0. So again reduces to 0. Where is the value of the B? 0. It is on this line. So I will move in this direction and here at point P. So see, at point P, what is the value of B? At point P, B is 0. So this OY, which was a residual magnetism, because of the increase in current is the positive direction, this OY has reduced to 0 at point P. Got it? Means residual magnetism is 0. So increasing H further, if I will increase the H further, the curve will again reach to this initial saturation point, or first saturation point, which was in the, when the current was in the positive direction. So what will happen? Why I am saying that we should reduce this now? Here it was OY, residual flux. Okay, so I said I have to reduce this flux, and for that I am increasing the current in the reverse direction. Okay, similarly, when I was getting the residual flux O capital Y, so I said I have to reduce this residual flux. For that I am increasing the current in the positive direction. Okay, so why do we want to reduce this residual flux? So look, during the first cycle, if I am not reducing this flux now, OY, what is happening if I will turn on the switch again without making this equal to 0, OY equal to 0? What will happen? This, at that point, the curve will move like this, means it will move to this point and again it will, saturation is achieved. Okay, and same is the case with this thing, this side. So what will happen? This Y point will shift to this point, Y dash. So if you will see the width, that is Y O Y dash, this width, sorry, this is small y o y. If I will not reduce the residual magnetism to 0, this width will keep increasing. So this width will keep increasing. So if this width will keep increasing, what will happen? Means the moment you will if you will turn on and off the system for the first, within the 2 or 3 cycles, your material may the system will attain saturation very fast. Okay, which is undesirable. And I also told you that OY, it is called as the hysteresis loss. So this OY, O small y hysteresis loss, and O capital Y, this is also hysteresis loss. So if I will not make this residual magnetism to 0, what will happen? The width will increase. This width means Y O small y O Y, it will increase. It will increase means, that means hysteresis loss will increase. HYS. It means hysteresis loss will increase. Okay, so that is why it is important to reduce this residual magnetism in a system. And the force which is required to remove this residual magnetism, it is called as coercive force. So what you learned here, you learned the relation between BH curve, and you saw when we are increasing the H, the B was also increasing, but when we reduced H to 0, B was not reduced to 0 because of the residual magnetism and because of the retentivity of the magnetic material. So because of this residual magnetism, I said there will be some loss in the system. So it is important to reduce this residual magnetism. For reducing the residual magnetism, I again increase the current, but in the reverse direction. Okay, until the residual magnetism was reduced to 0. Okay. So after the residual magnetism was reduced to 0, still I was increasing the current in the reverse direction up to the point when saturation was reached. So once the saturation was reached, what I did, I started decreasing the current in the reverse direction. I started decreasing the reverse current up to a point where the current again, where the MMF again reached to 0. But at that point again there was some residual flux. So what I did, I started increasing the current or MMF in the positive direction up to a point where magnetic residual flux reduces to 0. So after that, if I continuously increase the MMF, the point will again reach to the initial saturation point, and this cycle will keep on repeating. Okay. So next is eddy currents. So what are eddy currents? Eddy currents are nothing but they are the circular motion of currents or continuous circular motion of current. Continuous circular motion of current. And the nature of this eddy current, it is opposing to actual current. So opposing to actual current means if I have a current of suppose X ampere, which is actual current of X ampere, and because of this eddy currents which are opposing the main current, so suppose that the eddy currents are of magnitude Y ampere. So what will be the net current that is flowing in the system? That will be actual minus eddy, so X minus Y. So X minus Y means it is the net current. So because of this eddy currents, there is some loss of current which is called as eddy current loss. Okay, so I am saying these are actually, and these currents, eddy currents, are always generated in a system wherever there is any leakage. So I am saying these are actually leakage currents. Leakage currents. I told you what is leakage flux. Okay, so I am saying they are actually leakage currents and they are opposing to the actual currents. So I am saying suppose I supply is 10 ampere and I eddy is 1 ampere. Okay, I actually is 1 and I actually is 10 and I eddy is 1. So what will be I net? It is 10 minus 1, which is equal to 9 ampere. So there is a loss of 1 ampere. There is loss of 1 ampere of current, and the loss of 1 ampere of current, it is called as the eddy current. So these eddy currents, they can only generate on the surface of a system. So I am saying they are the available only on surface. They are available only on surface of materials. They are available only on the surface of materials. And I told you these are the circular currents. So how these currents will move? These currents will move like this. Okay, so suppose that I am saying a conductor is going like this, and I have a current here, it is 10 ampere. Okay, and the eddy current direction is like this, circular current, and it is 1 ampere. So 10 is in direction, this direction, in this direction, and 1 is in this direction. So 10 minus 1, what will be it? It will be 9 ampere. I net will be 9 ampere. Okay. So, and these eddy currents, they are because of the, I'm saying available only on the surface of a material, means these eddy currents are only because of the surface charge distribution. You have studied in physics 3 types of distribution, charge distribution, 11th or in 12th, linear charge, surface charge, and I don't know what was the third, maybe trapezoidal or what. Okay, so I'm saying it is only because of the surface charge distribution. So I'm saying if we are placing a on a magnetic charge surfaces, I'm saying eddy currents are generated if a magnetic charge surface is placed under a varying magnetic field. Okay, I'm saying magnetic charged surfaces placed under varying magnetic field, so what will happen? Eddy currents are generated. If magnetic charge surface is placed in under varying magnetic field, eddy currents are generated. And for varying magnetic field, you should have varying electric field. Okay, varying electric field. So for producing a varying magnetic field, we should have a varying electric field, and whenever the magnetic charge surface is placed under a varying magnetic field, eddy currents are generated. So I am saying, since these are the surface generated currents, means they are generated only over the surface of a conductor. So how will you reduce the eddy currents? Simply you will reduce the eddy currents by reducing the surface area. Okay, so by reducing the surface area, you will reduce the eddy currents. And how you will reduce the surface area in a material? So have you seen transformers? So if you see a transformer, so it is not the core of the transformer, it is not made of a single solid piece. Instead of a single solid piece, what we use, so I'm saying, suppose this is a core, I'm saying a core, a material, L-type material of a core. So instead of using a single core, what we are using? We are using number of laminations. Means thin strips, very thin strips of this material, iron. They are stacked together, like one strip, then another strip, then another. Like I will show this. Suppose instead of using like you can see this notebook now. So we are saying, instead of using one complete solid surface, what we are using? I am saying we are using laminations. So laminations will look like this. Let me show you here. So laminations will look like this. So I will say these are the laminations, because thin strips are stacked together and it will create the core. So what happened, because I am using number of laminations, okay, together, joined together, because the area which will say this area of each lamination, it is very small as compared to this total area. So what I am doing, by using the laminations, I am reducing the surface area. If I am reducing the surface area, I am reducing the eddy currents. So this is how you will reduce eddy currents in a system. So that was all about today's lecture. That is second video of lecture number 30. Hope this lecture will help you in understanding the basics of this magnetism and this basics of this BH curve. So rest of the material you will get from books, that is Basic Electrical Engineering by Nagrath and Kothari. Thank you very much.